I'm Mike Huckman at the BioBuzz Center, and I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Tom Zajanc, who is the Senior Director of Business Development at Genentech. Welcome, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mike. Pleasure.
So tell us about the team that you've brought here to the International Convention this year. How big are the numbers, and how many meetings are you guys taking over the course of the days here?
We have about 15 people from our Genentech partnering organization, and each individual is meeting with probably 5 to 6 companies dedicated to the therapeutic areas that they're specifically focused on.
But one of the core focuses of you and your team right now is specifically what's called genome sequencing. Tell us about that and what you're looking for to bolt on or to fit into the puzzle, if you will, in this whole genome sequencing approach.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. So very recently, there's been significant advances in whole genome sequencing. The costs and the time that it requires to sequence a genome has come down significantly. And we think it's really an opportune time to bring in whole genome sequencing as part of our overall drug discovery and development strategy. So late last year and the beginning of this year, we announced a couple of very important deals for Genentech. The first being a deal with 23andMe, where we were able to get access to 3,000 Parkinson's disease patients' DNA, and we intend to do whole genome sequencing of that DNA in an effort to identify new targets and point us towards companion diagnostics for our efforts in developing new drugs in Parkinson's disease.
And besides 23andMe?
Yes, there was another deal that we announced at the beginning of the year with Human Longevity Incorporated, HLI. We're very excited by this deal as well, because this will allow us to sequence literally tens of thousands of patients' DNA from our clinical trials. And what we are hoping is that this genotyping will help inform what is it about the patients that are responding to our therapies and those that are not responding. And so we think it's a very powerful tool to be able to get insights into not only response and non-response, but the pathophysiology of disease and point us towards companion diagnostics.
And thirdly, Tom, Roche Genentech took a majority stake in a company called Foundation Medicine, which in full disclosure is a client of the agency I work for, Pure Communications. So tell us about that and what that brings to this whole piece.
Yeah, so Foundation Medicine, that deal was very important to the Roche Group. They have a slightly different approach where they're doing targeted analysis of certain gene clusters, and we hope to be able to use that technology to further inform, particularly in our cancer immunotherapy space, which patients are most likely to respond or not respond to our medicines. It's a very complicated space with monotherapy and combination therapy, and we're very excited by the possibility that the Foundation Medicine technology will allow us to actually guide physicians in thinking about what is the best medicine to use and whether they want to use monotherapy or combination therapy.
So it's really fulfilling the promise of what the president has called precision medicine.
It's getting us down that road, yes.
All right, so what are your criteria when you approach a business development possibility? What are the things you look for, and how has that evolved over time?
Well, I think there are 3 key elements when we look for a partner for business development. The first is they have to have this appreciation and deep understanding of the science of the target or the drug that they're developing.
One would hope they do.
Yeah, Genentech from the very beginning has thought that good science means good business. So we look for first-in-class, best-in-class opportunities and partners that have really spent the time and rigorous science in understanding mechanism of action and the pathophysiology of the underlying disease. So that's one. The second, I would say, is we're looking for a good cultural fit. Genentech is a large biotech company, but in many ways we think of ourselves as a startup. There's really still that sense of urgency and real passion for developing and discovering drugs.
Casual intensity, right?
Casual intensity, yes. And so we're looking for that in our partners as well. We find that when we think similarly, that it makes for a more fruitful collaboration.
And thirdly?
And thirdly, we think that listening is critically important, particularly at the beginning stages of forming any sort of partnership. We like to really understand and have empathy with respect to our partners' needs. Not every deal is the same. All deals are different. And so With listening, we've been able to, through the years, come up with some very creative deal structures that result in win-win for both parties.
So that, Tom, you're not saying our way or the highway.
Oh,
right?
definitely not.
All right. Tom Zajanczak, the Senior Director of Business Development at Genentech. Thanks for joining us here at the BioBus Center.
Thank you.